have affected the past portrayed in Mary's books.
Saban arrived long after Lake, a reticent and not entirely undamaged man, had left for the cafe of the ruby-throated calf. I had not invited her, but the other guests must have taken her invitation for granted. They clustered around her like beads in a stunning but ultimately fake necklace. The couples on the dance floor displayed such ambition that Saban's necklace seemed to move around her, although she and her admirers stood perfectly still. Rain fell on the skylight above with a sound like lacquered fingernails tapping on a jewelry box. Through the open balcony doors came the fresh smell of rain, mingled, as always in Ambergris, with a green dankness. As I hobbled down the wide marble staircase, into their clutches, I could pick out each individual laugh, each flaw, each fault line, shining through their beaded faces. There were names in that flesh necklace, names that should someday be ticked off a list, names that deserve to be more public. At ground level, I could no longer see anything but patches of Saban, a glimpse of red hair, of sallow cheek, the pink allure clumping, a flash of eye, the eyelashes overweighed with liner, the absurd pout of a lip, the crushing smell of a perfume more common to a funeral parlor. She looked so different from the first time I had met her, lithe, fresh student, that I thought for a moment she had put on a disguise. Was she in hiding? From what? He is not a human being at all, but composed entirely of digressions and transgressions. I admit I laughed at Saban's comment. But I laughed out of affectionate recognition, not cruelty. Because Duncan did digress. He did transgress. He might well have dashed Saban's living necklace to bead pieces with just as amusing a phrase to describe Saban, had he not disappeared, possibly forever, a few days before the party. That was another thing. Duncan was always disappearing, even as a child. Saban's comment was amusing, but not, as one gentleman misidentified it, the definitive statement. A shame, because my brother loved definitive statements. He used to leap up from his chair at definitive statements and prick the air out of them, deflate them with his barbed wit, his truculent genius for argument, his infinite appreciation of irony.
I think you both mock me here, whatever I might have been in my youth, and I can't remember ever having been a witty conversationalist. I'm long past any such trickery. Let the spores be tricky. Let those who ignore them, from the nativists on down, expend their energy in fanciful phrasings for all the good it will do them.
I really ought to start again, though. Begin afresh. Leave Saban to her admirers for now. There will be time to return to her later. Duncan often started over. He loved nothing better than to start again in the middle of a book, like a magician appearing to disappear, to leave the reader hanging precariously over an abyss while building up some other storyline, only to bring it all back together seamlessly in the end, averting disaster. I would be a fool to promise to duplicate such a feat. For a time, Duncan sat next to the desk in my apartment, in an old, comfortable yellow chair our parents had bought in Stockton many years before. There he would sit, illumined by a single lamp in a twilight broken only by calls to prayer from the religious quarter, and chuckle as he read over the transcript of his latest chapter. He loved his own jokes as if they were his children, worthy of affection no matter how slack-jawed, limb-lacking, or broken-spined. But I best remember Duncan at his favorite haunt, the spore of the gray cap, a place as close as the tapping of these keys.
Favorite? Perhaps, but it was the only one that would have me, at times, at the more respectable establishment.